I won a $5,000 Super Bowl pool. The host handed me $600 and a slice of cold pizza. The red digital numbers on the clock hit midnight, and the room exploded. I didn't hear the roar of the crowd on the TV, nor did I hear the collective groan of the Patriots fans who had just lost their spread. The only thing I could hear was the blood rushing in my ears, a sound like a freight train barreling through a tunnel. I looked down at the crumpled piece of paper in my hand, my thumb smudging the ink where I had circled the grid coordinates over and over again for the last 4 hours. Row 7, column 3. The final score was 27-23. I looked at the massive poster board taped to the wall of Gary's garage. I traced the line with my finger from across the room. 7-3. The lines intersected at a single square, written in Gary's messy, thick Sharpie scrawl. Noah, I had one. I felt the air leave my lungs in a sharp, euphoric gasp. $5,000. That wasn't just fun money. That was fix the transmission on my truck money. That was pay off the credit card debt from Christmas money. That was a lifeline thrown to me in the middle of a drowning ocean of bills. I looked around the garage. It was a typical suburban Super Bowl party, a haze of vape smoke, the smell of stale beer, and a floor sticky with spilled salsa. Gary, the host and my neighbor for the last 3 years, was standing by the keg, wiping his forehead with a paper towel. He wasn't cheering. He wasn't high-fiving anyone. He looked pale. He looked like a man who had just swallowed a live grenade. I pushed through the crowd of neighbors. Gary, I shouted, waving the paper. Gary, look at the board. 7-3. That's me. I hit the final. The room went quiet. People turned to look. A few guys clapped me on the back. Congrats, man, someone muttered. Drinks on you next week. I walked up to Gary. He was sweating. It was 40 degrees outside and maybe 60 in the garage, but beads of perspiration were rolling down his temples and soaking into the collar of his replica jersey. Good game, right? I beamed, extending my hand. That ending was insane. Never thought they'd cover the spread. Gary didn't shake my hand. He looked at the floor. He looked at the keg. He looked anywhere but at me. Yeah, Gary croaked. His voice was dry, cracking like old parchment. Wild game. Crazy. So, I said, rubbing my hands together, the adrenaline making my fingers twitch. The pot. $5,000 for the final score, right? Do you have the cash box, or are we doing Venmo? Honestly, cash is better. I don't want to wait for the transfer limit. Gary laughed. It was a nervous, wet sound, like a tire losing air in the rain. About that, Gary said, finally meeting my eyes. His pupils were dilated. We need to talk. Maybe in the kitchen. It's loud out here. Talk. I asked. The smile on my face didn't vanish, but it froze. It became a mask. Talk about what? The numbers are on the board, Gary. 7-3. I know. He waved a hand, ushering me toward the door connecting the garage to the house. Just, come inside for a sec. Grab a slice of pizza. You hungry? I wasn't hungry. I was victorious. But I followed him. We walked into the kitchen. It was a mess. Empty boxes, crushed cans, a mountain of napkins. On the island, sitting like a sad offering to the gods of mediocrity, were 10 stacks of pizza boxes. Little Caesars. The hot and ready kind. $5 a box. Gary leaned against the counter, crossing his arms over his chest as if to protect his vital organs. So, Gary started, licking his lips. Here's the situation. The payout, it's not going to be $5,000. My stomach dropped. What do you mean? It's $100 a square. 100 squares. That's $10,000 total pot. $2,000 for the first quarter, 2 for the half, 1 for the third, and 5 for the final. That's the breakdown you posted. That's the breakdown everyone agreed to. Right. Gary nodded quickly. Technically, yes, but you have to factor in the overhead. Overhead? I stepped closer. Gary, this isn't a business. It's a neighborhood pool. What overhead? The party. Gary gestured wildly around the kitchen. The food, the beer, the hosting. Do you know how much it costs to feed 50 people? I had to buy the kegs. I had to get the pizza. I had to pay for the pay-per-view. Well, the cable package upgrade. What I'm about to do isn't just about calling the cops. It's about pulling the pin on a grenade and handing it to him. By the time I finish typing on my screen, Gary isn't going to be worried about his overhead. He's going to be worried about a federal audit that will uncover every single dirty dime he's tried to hide for the last 10 years. Follow on screen instructions to watch full video.